Good morning, Brian and Ari. I just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention to let you know why we should pivot to the next stage of retargeting. I know that we've been spending a lot of budget, but as you can see, this is the revenue that we have potentially lost as a result of 124 abandoned carts. Now, these carts can be recovered, of course, with a retargeting campaign, right? In other words, that means following the person with a different display ad, whether they call it whether it's a banner ad or a sidebar ad, whichever kind of ad, to basically continue following up with that particular individual and putting our brand before their face so that they can, just come back and make that purchase. Studies have always shown, and it's also been my experience, that about 20% of this particular amount would be recovered, at least 20%, excuse me, at least 20% of this amount will be covered or recovered as a result of a retargeting campaign. So, as you can see, 20% of this, let's just do some quick math, right? A nice recovery at this point would be, so we put 12,000, 687 multiplied at times point 0.2. That would have been at least $2,500 to date at this point of what it is that we would have recovered out of this at least. So as you can understand, the campaigns, and the only reason why this amount is as much as it is because I have been running a lot of targeted ads and targeted advertisements towards creating add to carts. And there's a couple of changes that I actually wanted to go through, and just to show you guys the way that I've been pivoting and what it is that I've exactly been doing with the information that I've been receiving. As a matter of fact, let me see how I could get into Lucky Orange. All right, let's just duplicate this. All right. Get back here. Lucky Orange. All right. And let's take the information past the last 30 days. And a lot of this information, so basically a lot of changes. I've made a lot of adjustments based upon the information that I've been receiving here. And I will definitely continue pivoting and continue making adjustments as I see fit. I just want to show, well, probably going all the way back to the second page. So now it's 50 per page, 50 items per page now. So we could go back a ways away. We go here and let's see. I would say probably starting. Um, let's hit play on this one. 3 minutes long. All right. Congratulations. So this is like way back a little while ago. This is, as a matter of fact, I want to bring more attention to not only the heavy chain, because which is a campaign I really believe that we should start revving up again. It has been one of our top sellers, and we have two great ads that are running. And Brian, yes, I can see the star right here. I did pay attention to this video, and I did make the necessary changes, which I will talk about as I continue going forward. All right. So let me see. Yes, you have two great ads that are currently running that are really performing in terms of relevance. They're performing very well. Your ad spend is lowering, and you are generating more results as a result. Thus, you can see this lost revenue. So this is revenue that was potentially ours, or that is potentially ours, and revenue, a portion of this, we can recover again. It's all measured by all these add to carts, or all of these abandoned carts and all of these add to carts. So in other words, these were places where people have literally just left the cart alone and never really came back. All right, so but they started adding the card to the item. They considered it and never really came back. So now let me go back to uh, okay. So as a matter of fact, I want to pay attention first to the watch, and then we could go back to the chain and why I believe that the chain we should actually increase the revenue on that and expect to really see some good ads coming out of it. So now let's just hit play on this one. As a matter of fact, no, I don't think this is a good one to display, even though it is a good example, but okay. But for all intents and purposes right now, I will use another example. Is this page number 2? All right. These are the chains. No, I don't want to get here. Okay, I can start looking at. All right, here we go. Here's a good one. All right. So I've been doing a lot of observation. All of those videos that you have seen in green check that ran across, I basically viewed those. As you can see, I've been literally, and I'm just going to pause it right here. I've literally been experimenting with different kind of layouts to see what is actually generating the most results, where people actually staying on the website or on the product page and reading over, reading for a longer period of time. What would cause them to read? So as you can see, this was 6 days ago. So let me just click play. And mind you, it is very important, and I kind of have to bring this in at this point. It is very important that we have increased the budget during those past couple of days. The reason why I know that the ad budget is being spent, but if I spent it at a lesser amount and we only got 1 or 2 or 3 people coming in, these findings that we're actually gathering at this particular moment, right, it would not be very significant because, again, with 1 to 3 people or 4 to 5 people coming in at a daily basis with an ad budget of 5, I would not be able to measure consumer behavior that would actually create a significant enough change and significant enough pivots when I do them. So I just wanted to make that make mention of that, but let me continue playing this video. So here we go. I've made this adjustment. So I see what it is that they're doing. And so I see that this person, and this is not the only individual, they keep frequenting back and forth, up and down on the checkout page. So this, amongst other things, has also made me make a pivot to see if any kind of adjustments will be made, and I will explain what every toss and turn has been of mine as I continue forward with this. All right. And I will also explain my next pivot after this. As you can see, this is a very interested person. All right, no more activity for the screen. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these. At your leisure, you can definitely check them out. All of the green. So I've basically gone through all of these videos that I thought had significant changes. If I only saw it in the green, I did not really pay too much attention to it. Anything that signified a lot of engagement, either yellow or red, or at least would have a minute plus, um, you know, of engagement, I would actually observe just to see what it is that people are doing. With my findings, this is what I've discovered, and these are the areas that I've pivoted. Right. So let's go here to the product page. Initially, my trust badge was a little bit different. It had red. Now, I remember, just based upon my own studies, that the color red is usually alert, or it could also be hazard, or it could be basically stop, basically something aggressive. So I did not want the person who comes on this particular product page to see anything that had anything red. So I did change it to this particular image for a trust badge. I made sure to separate this 88% of customers by two or more, just so it could be able to stand out. And as you can see on the product page, let's actually get there. Bling in motion, just to show you what the live version looks like. And let me also duplicate it to show you both the mobile and the desktop version. Duplicate. All right, let's go here. Watch. Uh, Luxury watch. And let's look at the, okay. Inspect. And put it into the mobile. There you go. So now this is what a iPhone 6 screen would appear like. And this is, of course, the desktop version. Desktop version. All right. So the changes that I've made, of course, are okay. So as you can see in the mobile version, when you read this further down, this is there. The 88% is very prominent and is a larger heading. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller so it could just be on one line, but it's already separated. And you can see this. This is there. Now, next we get into the description. I've separated that, made it a nicer description, put in some specifications. Initially, there were no product images. I did not incorporate any product images. I was seeing people simply reading and breezing through this particular sector, going straight from description. But again, I've from my own studies, from what it is that I've seen on Lucky Orange, I've seen the people go all the way down to the bottom and continue scrolling. Honestly, so this I compared it with what it is that I saw on Amazon.com. Amazon.com offers all of this information, and in fact, one of the most enticing pieces to me has always been to be able to see some of these images within the body of the product description. So I decided on incorporating that into it to let people get a better feel and look of exactly what it is that the product has to offer, any kind of specifications, any functionality, etc. I just wanted to offer a little bit more for my viewer to digest, since I see that they're actually going all the way down to the bottom of the site. Has it shown any kind of significant change? Yes, it has. I have seen that people usually, and you will be able to see that once you go through Lucky Orange. I've seen that people spend a lot of time actually, or a lot more time, actually being engaged with these photos and going up and down in many cases with them. I did change this from a standard black hour guarantee, or without italics, to this, to really signify that kind of trust, and just to break away a little bit from that pattern. And as a result, yes, I have seen a significant increase in engagement with this particular product page. So all of these things came in after my observation of what it is that people were actually doing. So I've gone through several pivots. One of them being this, adding the description, which was not originally there, adding these pictures, and of course, again, also italicizing and making this into a different color, right? Now, some of the other things that I started doing now is are some of the apps. So, Brian, you may notice that I've been taking apps off and I've been putting them back on. And my primary reason for doing so is because I literally just reverse engineered the process. I scaled it down just so I could be able to, with a significant amount of traffic that was coming in, see how it is that people are actually looking at this product page. So some of the things that I had there originally were this hex bar, right, which was the is the free. It says it was a blue bar up top. As a matter of fact, let me try to show you. Let's go to edit. Yeah, it's a blue bar up top that says free shipping on all orders. So this was one of the things that I had there originally. By way of observation, I looked at this. I saw the way that people, when they clicked on an image of the product and they wanted to just isolate that product, this would block the X arrow up top of that particular product, and they would get basically very frustrated and then leave at this point. So I paused this. All right. So I could close that off. Another, close that off, and close that. Another app, as a matter of fact, let's go duplicate that. Another app that I eventually switched back over to is, as you can see in the previous video, many people, more than that person, were actually spending a lot of time on the checkout page, and it was a little bit questioning to me. What exactly is it that they're doing? What are they looking for? Are they looking for some more content? Are they looking for something else to add to the cart? So I just really experimented with this particular component with this app, the personalizer app, which basically upsells them and cross sells them, and on that particular add to cart page. So I wanted to see what exactly it is. Here you have a 14-day trial left. So that's the reason why you would have seen this in your email last night. But I literally wanted to see why it is that people are spending a lot of time going up and down on the cart page and not necessarily clicking immediately to check out. So once I saw that, I basically decided on putting this into into the checkout or the cart page. Next, after that, um, there was something that I was experimenting with, and I figured that I needed to provide people an incentive to literally get over to the next step in the hurdle of checking out. So what I mean by that is that the next hurdle for me, a lot of people have not really been clicking and engaging on this. They have, but the number has been significantly less compared to something new that I have done, which is literally putting a pop up. So let me see if I can refresh it and if it'll pop up. Uh, let's see here. No, it doesn't look like it. All right, so the best way that I can do this, let's go to incognito window. Let's go to clients group, or excuse me, Bling in motion, and inspect, and let's get into the watches section. And keep in mind what I'm doing now. All the adjustments that I've made, I'm only doing it for two items. So here is something that I've realized. Um, excuse me. That was necessary. Now, as you can see, it popped up. So I went through several experiments. Right, I actually went through several experiments, not only in terms of time, but also, of course, in terms of the color scheme that I finally settled on. Right. So basically, what I did now is let's go here. Just want to show you the back end of that particular app. Let's go into the app section real quick. It's a Zipify coupon countdown. I have had a lot of experience in terms of literally being able to. I've gone onto sites where I knew that this what I also basically felt, and by way of observation of Lucky Orange, I did not feel that there was a sense of urgency with the fact that the clients are spending a lot of time, sitting down and browsing and going through, um, uh, going through the product page itself. So I now had to create a sense of urgency. So my sense of urgency was created by way of creating this special 20% off your order coupon with a countdown, right? So and literally, once this coupon counts down, the offer for the 20% does expire, all right? So I had different color schemes. I had one where this background was black, everything else, this was white, this was yellow, this was white, and this here was blue, right? So I tested that out for a little bit. I saw that it did not work the way that I wanted it to. Another thing that I tested out was this is black, this is blue. Everything else here is the colors that it is, except for the button. The call to action button was black, right? That also did not work. So what I did now is that I tried something different, right? I made this into the red alert, right, the 20%, and I created this green button, basically signifying go. And I did see that by way of observation, again, this one was the one that received the most kind of clicks. Now, another thing that I also did is that I experimented with the timing. I wanted to see if after 75 seconds, are people going to click on it? I wanted to see another thing after, will people click on it more immediately if it pops up in their face immediately? So again, by way of observation, I've actually noticed that I got more reception by putting it in their face immediately, and and basically, uh, what you call it, make having them make the option right then and there was always 50-50. It was basically a 50-50, 50-50 situation. So I actually put this into effect. I put this into effect yesterday. Right, I put this into effect yesterday. And as you can see, once you click apply coupon, it turns into this little sidebar. And then you could drop down the sidebar, and no matter what page you go, this will always remain. So they will always have that sense of urgency. So no longer are they spending a lot of time here on this page. Perhaps I'm also going to experiment with the timing to see if I shorten the time, if it's probably, since I see that on average, the people who are very interested adding this item to the cart, probably at max they spend about five 5 minutes, 10 minutes, max. I'm actually going to see if shortening this time would also speed up the process of basically checking out. Now, another thing is for me is so this is the one that I found, as I said before. Putting this particular pop up or the coupon immediately in their face. I've seen a lot of successful stores do that, so that's the reason why I experimented with this, and I found that this works. But I do intend on doing some more experiments. Another one that I plan on testing out is eventually, again, just keeping a steady flow of the traffic source, and getting some significant feedback on customer behavior and seeing how people are moving and navigating around the page. Um, I'm I'm intending on most likely uh, letting it be, should I say, basically a timed action. And timed action comes in the form of how long is a user going to spend on a page? How long do I determine basically when a user is supposed to see that particular coupon? So is it going to be after 60 seconds of being on a page? Is it going to be after 30 seconds? Or is it going to be after 2 minutes? I'm still seeking to see a sweeter spot, even though right now I have found this sweet spot, but I'm trying to find it, make it better, basically improve it, right? So as you can see, there's a lot that's basically a lot of thought and a lot of pivoting that has gone into this particular product page, but there's more. So the next step is I realized that a lot of people when they add it to the cart, all right, they add it to the cart. Right now, there's something that I added into it. There's an effect that I added into it. So if I click add to cart, it's going to take me directly to checkout now. And this is something that I did again by way of observation. I have seen that a lot of people added to the cart, and I've actually seen a significant amount of people that click on the checkout button. Right. I would say out of 14 add to carts, again, you'll probably get a ratio of half. So about 7 people will click on the checkout button. Excuse me. So that being said, I'm experimenting now to see, because I have seen some kind of friction whenever they click on a checkout button. There is about a 2 second delay, or a 1 to 3 second delay. And I'm not really too sure if there's a huge drop off. I did speak to Shopify earlier. And also, by the way, I did correct the continue shopping browser button. So now it leads back to all products if you want to go back and check that out. But what I did is that instead of them simply just adding it to the cart and then basically seeing other items and then coming back and then browsing, etc., etc., I'm literally taking them directly to checkout. So once they make this, so the whole point here is that they take advantage of the coupon, they click add to cart, and then it directly takes them to the checkout process, right? Not too much more of a delay. Basically, I'm taking them straight to putting in their information. So I've done this on this particular product, and I have also done it on the chains, which I know and I still believe, and it still is another one of your hottest selling items, right? Another one of your hot items. I know it's not selling the way that we're all expecting it to at this point, but again, it is another one of your hot items. And even there, we've done experiments with different prices. We went from 129 to 149, from 149 to 249. I did not see as much engagement, but today, having dropped it to 189, I have seen an abandoned cart. So somebody did want to make the purchase today. This gentleman right here, Tobar, whatever his name is, and he's coming out of Park Hill, Staten Island, right? So, uh, yeah. So basically, this information, I am gonna, I'm gonna put this video up temporarily because as you can see, I've that could be a privacy issue. So it's definitely gonna be shared privately with you guys. And I will take it down not too long after, but I could send you guys like the MP4 file privately so you could just watch it on your own. I think I'll probably wind up doing that instead of putting it on YouTube. But anyway, besides that, so Zipify, let me show you actually the numbers. Let me see, I think this is when I first started putting it in. In fact, this is, I would say, as of yesterday, this started happening. And the numbers originally were not 12 at all. So this, I took the screenshot at a later period, right? But then I started taking. This was when the idea just popped up in my mind to start actually tracking what it is that's happening. So this is by way of uh, this thing, the pop up, right? Which I'm which I this pop up right here. So the pop up that showed up, you can go here in the back end. Let me just walk you through it. And you can see all the stat information here. So, however, how many pop-ups were generated, how many coupons. So, in other words, how many times did a pop-up appear before people? How many times did they click on apply coupon, and how many times did they use that same coupon to start a checkout process? All right. So right now, I know it's gonna read my information. So anything that you see around this time or a little bit earlier, please discount that. That's just me doing this test currently. All right. I'm gonna close that off. But so I've done my own experiments, and this is what it is that I found. So as you can see, coupons generated. In other words, the number of people clicking on coupons. When I first started it, the numbers were much lower. This number was much lower as well. That's the reason why I told you when I started making the adjustments. These are the stats that I found. So it started off at maybe like two checkouts started, and this was as of yesterday. All right, two checkouts started, and then it climbed up to about 53 coupons, 14 checkouts from 12. Like this was basically happening throughout from yesterday going into or from the day before yesterday. Um, Literally just like climbing, and this is a very significant stage because again that means that they're literally one step away from the order process, right? So right here, and then as you can see today, we have a lot of coupons generated. This number is definitely still going to continue climbing up. I did make some adjustments today again, so that's the reason why this kind of has been at a stalemate. But it hasn't really done too much climbing. But you could definitely expect to see this start climbing up again. But this also is a very high and a significant number. So that being said, let me see here. As you can see, yeah, so more people are, well, these two coupons are most likely me. Um, and somebody, one other person. But yeah, that's that. These are the adjustments that I've made. I just want to point this number again. this is our revenue. This is basically our abandonment cart revenue, which a good and a significant portion of this can be recovered, so long as we take the necessary steps of also being able to display these ads to people outside of Facebook. Not only should Facebook be our our retargeting, because I am doing some kind of retargeting within Facebook, but it only keeps people on Facebook, and it makes the assumption that people are not basically going outside of Facebook, when we know that's false. But that being said, I have seen some of our biggest competitors do it. You basically go here to Gold Shop, and not too long after, you will eventually start seeing Gold Shop ads in different locations, different banner ads, etc. Because all the top sellers know that retargeting works. They basically want to keep that brand in front of their potential clientele, anybody who has had an interest. And to be quite honest with you, in simple terms, basically the majority of your sales you will get back in the follow up. Just follow up with your clients, and basically that's how you're going to be able to recover any kind of a lost or an abandoned account. So anybody who's walking away, you simply follow up with them. You say, hey, I remember XYZ, XYZ, let's continue where we started. And that's basically how you're able to generate a relationship. And as a result of a relationship, you're able to close that deal. And that's literally what retargeting is to make people comfortable with, you take them through what they call a 7-day journey of retargeting, showing them different ads in different spaces, different variations of it, right? Not the same thing. So there's no risk of what they call ad fatigue, or somebody actually gets tired of seeing the same ad over and over again. But we make, the whole point is to create 7 different ads, or 7 different ads that served on a daily basis, right? And then basically, touching different pinpoints of your customers, so that they, at the end of the day, can have more of a relaxed feeling, and just remember your brand a lot more. So that's it. This is the next step. This is what lost revenue, and this is the solution to that particular lost revenue. So, Brian, if you can, please, let's take this next step. Everything is already set up within your PayPal, or within, excuse me, Shopify. All right. I've again taken the necessary steps. I've literally been on this thing 24/7, man. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm still up. So I'm definitely dedicated to making sure that you guys are making money. And I know that these are just some necessary, and these are some growing pains, but I'm 100% sure with every bit of every incremental change that I make, it's just going to come back, and it's just going to benefit you guys so much more in the future. So with that being said, I'm gonna close this off. But I look forward to talking to you guys. But please, the whole point here is to watch this video before we even get in conversation, and then you could be able to, we could add some kind of valuable content, in our conversation. All right, I look forward to talking to you soon, man. Take care. Peace.